Hi, I'm Matt from State House Sessions. We're now kicking off our new YouTube series in which we sit down with musicians and talk about the equipment and pedals that they use. Our first guest is Will Donnelly from one of our favorite bands, Loca Connie.
This is my main girl right here. It's a 2016 ES355. I'm a big fan of Chuck Berry and Keith Richards, and just want to look cool, man. Turns out it sounds pretty good too. Just straight to the amp. Just a little Blues Junior. I use a couple amps on stage, but this is just for the house and to get like a nice little crunch at low volumes. But sure. I usually just run it pretty clean, pretty safe sounding. So I got a tuner here, obviously, by Boss.
They sound amazing.
I know, they sound incredible. And then that goes into this orange compressor, which is a compressor and a little bit of EQ.
Is that something you always have on?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's pretty much my always on thing. It just makes things sound a little bit better, really.
Okay.
A little bit of sustain. You can use it as a boost if you want to. I don't. You can squish it pretty hard, but also like dial in some extra top end so It doesn't sound too squashed. So it just still sounds kind of normal, just like enhanced, if you will. And then, let's see, we got the Pitchfork by Electro Harmonics.
Okay.
I usually use that as like a baritone effect.
Okay.
Because I don't have a baritone guitar, and on the past couple records that we did, I used a lot of baritone, and so I was trying to figure out a workaround to incorporate that into live gigs. So I usually just have that a fifth down, like to a B. Yeah, throw a little bit of trim on that, and no one's the wiser, I'll also use it for, changing the tunings, or you can, like a fake bass sound, just for fun.
Okay.
Let's see. Because I'm secretly a bass player at heart. I love playing bass. Throw a little bit of distortion on that. And it sounds pretty good, actually. Onto that is pretty much my only drive pedal. It's SFT by Catalan Bread.
Okay.
And it's sort of based on an amp peg.
Yeah.
You can use it for guitar or bass.
Okay.
And it's just a nice, like, really low mid-range focused overdrive. And you can switch it to Fuzz if you want to, and it sounds pretty rad. It has two buttons, or it has a button, one called Stones and one called Stoner.
So you can get that, like, Keith sound.
Yeah. Like I said, Keith Richards is definitely a spirit animal for me.
Sure.
So I'll usually just mess around. I kind of like to turn the knobs like all the way up for EQ, and it gets kind of bassy, but still like with some clarity. Yeah, you can make it sound really nasty and gross if you want it to. Yeah.
That thing sounds great.
I know.
It's like everything in between.
It
seems.
For this board, it's the first pedal I bought when I got back into buying effects.
Okay.
So it sort of stayed on there the whole time, and I've never wanted to get rid of it, really.
Yeah.
And then goes to First Fuzz, which is, I think it's a now defunct company, but it was local in PA, TSVG. It's called the Emperor. It's like an overdrive / fuzz. I just use it as a fuzz. I just have it dimed out, and it sounds gross and wonderful.
That's awesome.
But yeah, a buddy of mine, Yamil, gave one to me some years back, and it's a little beat up just from before use.
Sure.
But it still sounds great. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have the LED light anymore, but I know when it's on.
Yeah. Is it, what kind of a fuzz is it on the inside? Is it like similar to more of like a germanium fuzz, or is it more on the like...
It's hard to... I'm not
like
actually
big
really
muff,
sure.
or like a big muff end, or...
It's like, it's a really thick sounding fuzz.
Okay.
It's not really spitty like a germanium would be.
Yeah.
I think it's more like on the big muff kind of end, but without the tone control. It's just volume and amount of fuzz.
Yeah.
You can use it for overdrive if you want on the lower end, but you can, once you turn it all the way up, it sounds pretty glorious.
Yeah.
Yeah, very noisy and
No, that's
delicious.
cool. I love it.
Next, this is probably my favorite pedal on this board. It's just a handmade copy of a green ringer.
Okay.
Which is like an old school ring modulation / like octave effect. And it just makes this wonderful, awful noise. This awful clamor and clank. But, you know, people use it for Hendrixy kind of sounds, but it sounds great just like playing chords with it because it just makes everything sound so messed up. And once you go above the 12th fret, it gets that like octave up sound, which is really awesome.
Oh, okay, cool, yeah.
And it plays well with other pedals, which is great. You can stack it on top of the first fuzz that I have, or the overdrive, and it just sounds awful and disgusting.
Yeah, that sounds great. That really works.
Yeah,
well.
Once I got my hands on it, I was like, I'm never getting into this ever again. Yeah, I was looking a long time for an octave fuzz sound.
Okay.
And maybe like possibly one that you could switch the octave effect on and off. And from doing research, like I didn't really find one that I liked that sounded both without the octave and with the octave. So I was like, oh, I'll just get like the thing by itself. And
right.
I already have the fuzz that I like.
Yeah.
Just throw that on top, and turned out it worked pretty well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Next, that's just a boost. Pretty self-explanatory. Just a one knob boost makes it louder. So for when those need to be louder moments need to happen.
Yeah, that cut's nice.
Yeah, like it doesn't affect the guitar 3-amp sound at all. Just I need to be louder sometimes, and I don't need to be louder sometimes. Next, on this top row here is all the fun effects.
Sure.
I picked this up recently. It's the Boss MD200, which is basically a bunch of different modulation sounds like flanger, phaser, univibe, tremolo.
Okay.
You know, I wanted to conserve some space and didn't want to have a whole bunch of pedals to tap dance around.
Sure.
I call it all my wiggle and wobbly stuff. But yeah, it has presets that you can save. I guess I'll just cycle through a couple. So and it does them all pretty convincingly. Like they all sound pretty good. And it has like a couple fun sounds, like a slicer, which is like some weird rhythmic tremolo thing that I have a hard time figuring out. So, all right. Like, you know, but it's great for, you know, bedroom noodling.
Yeah.
So usually just have it set as a tremolo. It's like a fast trem.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
No, that actually sounds great. It doesn't sound like there's like any signal loss or anything, and usually that's a concern with like tremolos.
Yeah, it's a fun, powerful little tool.
Yeah.
And you know, tap tempo.
Oh, that's great.
The whole ball of wax.
Yeah.
Trem. got a chorus, vibrato or univibe, and then like a Leslie rotary effect. You know, just for fun stuff.
Yeah, that thing sounds great.
Yeah, compact, powerful, does what it needs to do. Next, I got the Flashback. It's Flashback 2 from TC Electronic. Sort of going for a similar idea here, where it's a bunch of different types of delay, but in a small package, and it's not one of those giant Strymon things that everyone has.
Yeah.
You know,
I love those things.
$400 to blow like that.
Yeah, they sound amazing, but I definitely noticed like every button does 8 things, and I don't want to fiddle around. Like I just want to be able to like get to it and then get away from it too.
Yeah, I try to have a more pragmatic approach.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't need all that MIDI control or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of guitar player. What's the thing, like worship guitar?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what that means. You know? I mean, yeah, like that kind of stuff for me doesn't work very well in a rock and roll environment, or in my opinion.
Yeah.
A bunch of people might disagree, but you know, I don't care. But it does a lot of really cool stuff, and the actual pedal itself has like a built-in expression thing.
Oh, cool.
So you can like control feedback or like all this crazy stuff. It has a looper too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big looper guy as well, but it's really straightforward, really simple to use. It has like a octave like delay, like a shimmery kind of thing.
Okay.
For all that like dreamy sounding stuff. Normally I'll have it set up as a slapback. You know, convincing. Yeah. You know, sounds like a analog delay.
Yeah.
It has like yeah, if you step on the pedal, I'll show you. It like you can in this setting you can make it like the feedback like get louder.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's like pressure sensitive, so the harder you step on it,
Oh man.
the more crazy stuff it does. I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool.
I wish my tape delay did that.
I know, like I used to have the El Capistan from Strymon.
Yeah.
That was probably like the most expensive pedal I've ever purchased.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, and it had that feature.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, I did a little bit of research to see what other pedals would have that. Because, like, I also sort of wanted to, like, expand, like, on the different kinds of delay, like, all that bedroom, you know, loopy, spacey sounding stuff that everyone's probably been doing for a long time now. I'm just getting hip to that. Yeah, it does like a really cool, like, it's called Crystal, I guess. And it's sort of, yeah, it sounds crystal. Like an octave sort of thing kind of comes in at the tail end of it. You know, and you know, like if you step on the pedal for a long time, it like brings out the octave thing even more. It's a fun pedal to mess around with for hours. Hours of play. Although I have not found a proper band setting for that sound.
Yeah,
that one's just kind of for me, I guess.
I have an old Blood Noise Procession.
They make very cool stuff.
Which is really cool, and it has a similar function where you can hold one of the knobs down, and it like repeats constantly. But it's like, I don't know where this is ever going to fit into a practical rock band sound.
Yeah. You know, but it's nice to have it.
Yeah, no,
as an option.
It's amazing, but...
and then sort of continuing the theme here is the Hall of Fame 2 by TC Electronic. They're a lovely pairing together.
Yeah.
Because it has that same expression feature,
Okay.
and a whole amazing range of sounds. Oh yeah, if you like get really nerdy about it, you can upload your own sounds into it like via USB, which surprisingly I haven't done yet because I've had so much time to just think about it and mess around with effects at home. But it just sounds great to begin with, so I haven't really felt like messing with it.
That's cool.
Again, I have it set up in the conventional, like, sort of spring, you know, that usually will just be on all the time, just for... does what it needs to do, but again, it does that cool, dreamy sounding stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess it's called shimmer. The church setting sounds really cool too. Like, it can get into like infinite territory.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. You know, like, I'll usually mess around with the dreamier sounding stuff if my girlfriend's watching TV next to me or something, and she's putting up with me messing around on guitar for an hour or something. I'll play something nice to like help her like take a nap or something. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, long church. It's pretty cool. Shimmer sounds really cool. Again, it's got that octave up thing at the end of it. Let's see here. You can even sort of use it as like a volume pedal, I think, on one of these settings. I think it's this one. Let's see. Nope. Yeah, so like if you step on the pedal, it acts as like a volume control.
Okay.
Oops.
Oh, like a swell.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I actually have found a band setting for that one. There's like a softer song that Adam does usually at the end of our set.
Okay.
It's called Stay As Long As You Like. And on the recorded version, which will be coming out soon, sort of got carried away with actually like these dreamy sounding things.
Sure.
And like a volume swell kind of thing. It was really what I normally don't do because I'm usually just going full tilt all the time, but a softer song allowed the opportunity for it.
Cool.
So yeah, I actually have found a good use for that one. But most of the time it's just set on a spring sound, just for reverb. And yeah, I think that's about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there any mods done to the guitar? I meant to ask you that when you were going through.
No, besides the this rad TCV sticker that my friend Hannah made for me, that's the only modification that I've done.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty stock, but
yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's just once I picked it up, I just fell in love with it immediately. I sort of decided to go all in at the end of last year.
Okay.
It's like, you know what, I'm just gonna get something really nice that plays great and sounds good, because I've been playing cheap bang around guitars for a long time now. It's like, I'm an adult and I'm gonna make an adult purchase. And yeah, it has not bit me in the rear end. It's been a lovely companion.
That's awesome. Thanks for watching, and thanks so much to Will for being a part of this. Down in the description, you'll find links to Loca Connie's live streaming series, Tough Cookies, as well as links to the pre-orders for their new album, Private Lives.